My name is Jim Angel. I'm the Illinois State Climatologist here at the Illinois State Water Survey at the Prairie Research Institute. So I started in 1997, and State Climatologist really has, as the name implies, we look at things across the state. So we're looking at current conditions, historical conditions, and what might happen in the future. So I do a lot of research on that, but we also do a lot of outreach as well. So it's kind of a combination of being a scientist, but also being a person that's out there communicating the results to the user groups. And those user groups could be things like engineers or egg producers, all the way down to students and others and lawyers and so forth that are interested in the weather data or the climate data of Illinois, and also kind of the knowledge that we gain from that. So whether, for example, whether or not we can decide anything on El Nino or La Nina based on historical records. Probably the biggest group I talk to the most are farmers and ag producers, because obviously the weather has a big impact on their activities, not only what's going to happen today and tomorrow, but also next week and next month, and so on the rest of the growing season. So we spend a lot of time talking about where we stand right now in terms of rainfall and temperatures, and then so there's a lot of interest in those kinds of activities too. And if you look at Illinois, we've warmed by about 1.5 to 2 degrees over the last century. To me, more importantly, is that we've actually gotten about 10% wetter. So we're not only wetter, but we're also getting more of the heavy rainfall events. And so that's leading to more flooding. So probably if you ask farmers or homeowners or city managers, probably their biggest headaches in the last 5 years have actually been too much water. So lots of flooding and so forth. So I think that's probably one of our biggest challenges in terms of climate change that we're facing in Illinois right now. Well, the number one question I get asked by the media is a particular event we're experiencing, is that caused by climate change? So I get that a lot. It's this rain that we're getting now, is that climate change? Is the drought we had 2 years ago climate change? Those are actually pretty hard to answer, because a lot of times when we're talking about climate change, you're talking about long-term trends. So you might look at 30 or 40 or 50 years of data to assess whether you're seeing climate change or not. So one event on that graph, it's really kind of hard to tell whether it was caused or not caused by climate change. So that's actually the harder one to answer. But for people on the street, the one I get the most is, do you believe in climate change? Which I always think is kind of funny, because nobody ever asked me if I believe in floods or tornadoes or snowstorms or anything like that. So it's like they're literally put in terms of a belief system as opposed to an actual physical phenomena out there. So, and I mean, for the most part, I'm pretty down to earth on these kind of things. So I just look at the data and see where the trends are. And a lot of people will make decisions based on the information that I'm and others are giving out here. So that's really what keeps me going, is the fact that it is a very useful job, and the ag community is probably the strongest connections are with them. So I have a lot of connections within that community, and so there's a lot of interactions on that end. But yeah, it definitely adds value to those activities. And it's not unusual for us, like if we're going to do a study of some weather climate phenomena, actually look for it like the Midwest or something like that, to look at a broader view of these kinds of things. So, and that's right, it does get translated to other places. I've been contacted by people from other countries asking for journal articles that we've done. So yes, it's pretty wide, pretty much global at this point.